Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Down and Dirty that's brought to you by Poocho, a research productivity tool to collect and analyze consumer conversations at scale. Today, my guest is Nishita Mohta. Nishita is she's a design operations consultant, she's a design educator, and the author of Inspired, the A to Z of Creative Unblocking, a book about understanding and overcoming the creative mind blocks that one might have. She partners with organizations to optimize their design process and enhance collaboration. She's also an educator, and as an educator, she empowers aspiring designers, helping them hone their skills and navigate the creative industry. She also guides individuals, in case you are wondering, on how to manage their creative energies effectively and avoid burnout. I met Nishita at a conference where she was actually talking about creative mind blocks, and it's really great to have you on the show, Nishita. Welcome.
Thanks, Taapsi. Thank you. Such a fun introduction. Yeah, we met at that conference, and I'm so glad we caught up right on the next day at breakfast and had
Yeah.
such an in-depth conversation. Immediately off the bat, I love what you're doing at Poocho, and I am so excited to be here. I've heard a couple of episodes before this, and I'm ready to get started.
Lovely, lovely. So for people who are wondering, what a design operations consultant does, could you demystify
Right.
that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's probably the most asked question that people have for
Right.
me every time I've been introducing myself, especially over the last 1 year since I went independent, because the idea of having a project manager within a design studio has been picking up. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 years back, it was very rare, but these days I see more and more design studios looking for project managers because they recognize the importance of having that managerial person amidst all the creative action. Because at the end of the day, design studios are creative spaces
Right,
and they are catering to businesses which have timelines, which have constraints.
right.
So I started off as a project manager, and now
Hmm,
independently, I focus on design operations,
hmm,
which is the best way to define it is all the operational work that goes into running a studio, just stopping short of designing. And because I've been a freelance designer, I have worked with teams, I've worked independently, and
hmm.
I've been a project manager, kind of seen it from all sides. And I step in when a founder is growing. They're usually solo founders. They also don't have the bandwidth to work on systems and processes for their
Hmm.
studio. And then I work collaboratively with them to ensure that their processes are their processes are turned into knowledge systems for their team to learn from and implement. So
Got it.
overall, we're looking at improving the efficiency of creativity, which is a really
Yeah,
hard
of
thing for
course.
some people to hear. Like, can you make creativity efficient? You
Yes.
can't make ideation efficient, but
Hmm.
execution, communication with clients, project tracking, project planning, those are all aspects that many studios kind of struggle with, and
True.
that's where I can help them.
That's fantastic. As someone who is the co-founder of her own company, I spend so much of my time just building efficiencies and getting
Right,
bogged down sometimes in operations of it, that there's no mind
right,
space to think creatively or to think innovatively when I want to.
right.
So the idea that someone like you comes in, swoops in, and kind of manages that so that
Yeah,
the founder has some breathing room to think about business and growth and
yeah,
innovation, creativity, all these things that see I can see why the demand for that would be something that's increasing, especially also we're also using words and having conversations around productivity and
yeah,
efficiency, and this is it's part of our framework now, in terms
yeah,
of how we
absolutely.
operate. So I can see that. So what a great space to be in. Can you give me an example of, just very quickly, because I know we're going to get to other things, but what would be, if someone had to anchor what you said into something tangible,
Hmm.
what is one type of deliverable that you could give?
So one of the most common deliverables I give is ways for project planning and tracking,
Hmm.
because there are different phases at which I work with founders. There's a lot of deliverables in the business development space, in the company introduction space, because
Hmm.
that is a repeat activity, right? Which you have to
Hmm.
do so many times over, and that's not been made efficient. But for me, like the most common deliverable I've been giving is project planning and tracking systems, where Now, the process is unique for every client, so I
Mm.
can't really pin it down into
Of
step one,
course.
step two, step three, because depending on the industry, are they interior stylists? Are they textile designers? Are they brand designers?
Mm.
Are they researchers? Depending on that, the process varies, but I sit with the founder. I understand what their process is for the most important types of projects. Let's say they
Mm.
have four recurring types of projects. Sit with them, understand what the project really is, because even if they've never articulated it, the fact that they are senior designers, founders, means it's there in their head. They're
Correct.
subconsciously using it. My task is to help them put it on paper, then turn it into something that can be visualized by both their teams, their
Mm.
clients, and of course themselves, and then
Right.
make turn it into a usable system for their teams to regularly update, so that essentially what you said, the founder's bandwidth gets freed up. Now, whether
Correct.
they want to
Correct.
take a break and rest for 1 hour a day, or whether they want to spend that time focusing on business development, is up to them.
Yeah.
But my intention is that whatever's in the founder's brain, which is going on subconsciously, because that
Mm.
goes on a lot with senior people who haven't had the time to articulate their own processes,
Yeah.
and that comes out into a usable format. So I would say project trackers is a
Got it.
very common
One
deliverable that
example.
I create. Yeah.
Right. So would it be fair then for me to interpret what you said as, so it's so project management, but nuanced for the design community?
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
because there will be nuance in terms of what the
Yes, yes.
project is, what the guardrails are, what the metrics are, what the
Yeah,
timelines are. So okay, that
yeah.
makes sense.
I'll give you one more
Mm.
distinction. For example, there are product design based studios. Maybe
Mm.
someone's in fashion and their project planning is not dependent on a client, but rather
Mm.
when they need to launch. So that's one kind. Then there are service based design studios
Mm.
for whom it's project to project. So very much dependent on clients' timelines. But their type of projects will also usually be defined.
Mm.
Then there is retainer-based clients for whom actually they're not mapping anything against
Correct.
a deadline. It's just ongoing. So the method varies for each.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. Thanks for clarifying that. Uh, Gave me a window, even deeper window into what you do from our
Yeah.
conversations earlier. So walk me through then a day in your life, because as a consultant, I imagine you yourself have a certain amount of fluidity. So I'm curious about,
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than taking an average day, could you tell me, like, yesterday, day before, like, what did it look like from the time you woke up till the time you went to bed?
Yesterday, a day before is a really bad example because I had guests. And given the fluidity, yes, I could take
Yeah.
2 days off, but the
Yeah.
next 2 days are going to be manic. So I
Correct.
actually think of my work in terms of what I need to get done in a week.
Hmm.
But I can give you a typical example of a day because given how much fluidity
Hmm.
I have had to create constraints for myself
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it can't be completely fluid.
Yeah.
There has to be a fine balance. So I kind of have three blocks that are fixed in the day. The morning starts with exercise, either it's a run or going to the gym, and then coming back,
Hmm.
breakfast, chilling,
Hmm.
and then I get to my desk. So then comes the first work block, which within that it's quite fluid because it depends on which client I need to work for that day. So
Can you give
that is
me
something that,
times, Nishita? Can you attach
oh yeah,
times to
sure.
this? Yeah.
uh, okay, let's say 8 to 9:30 is workouts.
Hmm.
That includes the commute hours and everything.
Yeah.
Come back, shower, eat, again, another hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's say I get to work by 11.
Okay.
And by getting to work, I mean just coming to my lovely home office, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love working from home. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
So yeah, from 11 to lunchtime, let's say 2 is one work
Hmm.
block.
Hmm.
Then eat, um, rest for a bit. I used to do afternoon naps and I used to take a lot of pride in doing that.
Yeah.
But now I think I'm in a phase of life where I have calls immediately after work. And I've also
Hmm.
realized it works. I have been trying to sync my daily routine with whatever I've been understanding about the circadian rhythm and about other
Hmm.
physiological behaviors. So I've realized that right after lunch, you feel that slump, and the best thing you can do is have a conversation. So I know I might not get a lot of work done sitting individually, but I can have a great conversation, insightful conversation with somebody right after lunch as well.
Mm.
So I guess about 3:30 to 6:30 is another work block. And then, or I would say 7 till 7 is another work block, dinner, and then it's unstructured time.
Yeah. What time do you
Do
normally get to
whatever.
bed?
11.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And you probably wake up by 7, right? Because you have your
Yeah.
workout and all that starts at 8. So 7,
Yeah. So
7:30 ish.
11 to 7 is typically
That's
my
great.
sleeping hours. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
optimized for sure. The 8 hour
Yeah,
block.
and it's actually all mapped out on a calendar. I use Google Calendars like nobody's business. Every aspect of my life is on
Hmm.
there. So just the other day, my husband was telling me that, you were sleeping, you weren't feeling well, you missed your alarms. So I had to check your Google Calendar just to see if you have any calls. So it's actually pretty helpful that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
saw that I don't have any client calls, so he just let me sleep.
So cool.
So yeah,
Yeah, my husband and I do share a calendar as well because it does help,
yeah,
kind of visualize and make visible
yeah,
my routine. Okay, all
yeah,
right. So in the course of your day, I know what you do in a work block is fluid, obviously, because as a
yeah.
consultant, projects come and go.
Yeah,
But could you walk me through what are some, if you are logging in and checking
yeah,
into work,
yeah,
are you working on a desk? I'm assuming you're working on a desktop or a
yes,
laptop.
yeah,
What's open? Like if I had to look over your shoulder, what are some things that I would see on your dashboard
yeah,
on a regular basis?
yeah. Google Calendar for sure, because
Definitely.
I'm constantly checking in like what I need to do. It also helps a lot with my anxiety about work. Do I have
Mm-hmm.
enough time to do this or that? So Google Calendar for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then Notion, because I maintain a log of what's to be done, what's urgent. So Notion is my digital notebook. Then you'd see Toggl, because coming to my desk and starting client work means I'm switching on a timer in Toggl. So that's like a ritual that I have for getting into the consultant mode, because a lot of time I'm coming to my desk and doing some of my own work, whether it's for my own business development or some writing or this podcast. So
Yeah.
for something that's not related to clients, I don't have a timer running, but otherwise I do. And then the entire Google Suite, because that's what I work on. That's what I deliver most of my things on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have my clients' websites, their files open on my laptop. I work on my laptop. So yeah, that's
Okay.
what you would see. Oh, you would also see YouTube music playing, because I have a very specific playlist to set the vibe for working.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious, what kind of playlist, what kind of music is this? Is this mixed
It's
genre?
It's usually nothing. I mean, it can't be anything with lyrics, because I tend to sing along and my brain just goes there. So it's usually some form of instrumental, and I often let YouTube recommend it. But if there's nothing interesting coming up, lo-fi work music. That's all.
That's great. Okay,
Yeah,
all right. So, let's I know we're going to talk about Toggl. So, but before we talk about the tool, I'm just really fascinated by you saying that you have this queue that you're now in
yeah.
consulting mode, consultant
Yes,
mode. I'm sorry.
yes.
Just talk to me a little bit more about that. Why is it important for you to have that toggle on and off?
Yeah. I'd say I realized this while during the pandemic.
Hmm.
Um, Not because uh, of my own work habits, but because of how I saw other people working, the team that I was
Okay.
managing,
Hmm.
and the other creatives that I was interacting with, because I have always worked from home. I did
Okay.
one internship during college where I went to office, and probably one short job after that. But after that, I've always been a freelancer, or I've been part of teams during the pandemic. So I have
Hmm.
always worked from home, and somehow over time, I've picked up these things, right? Plus, I'm an architect by training. I have a deep interest in behavioral psychology. So just the information I consume for delight or for curiosity has shaped how I think about rituals. So this idea of coming and sitting in a particular space, having my desk arranged so, having certain music, the environmental design has always very subconsciously been there. But especially for with timers and music, maybe sitting with a cup of warm drink. These are things that I realized in conversation with other people that now that they're newly in this work from home situation where their bed might be in front of them and desk over here, you can't physically separate the space.
Mm.
So you can only mentally create a very different environment for yourself.
Mm.
And I was also one of the people who would be responsible for getting people to use timers at work because creative people like to say that, we're just thinking all the time. But no, when you're thinking for work, or
Mm.
there has to be some way of logging time, right? So this idea of thinking of it like a ritual was something that I would speak to them about. That think of it like, okay, now I'm in office. And
Mm.
when I want to take a break, I'll take a break.
Mm. Mm.
So it's just one of the smaller things to get that you tell yourself that I'm going to do this. Now I'm in office, even if that office is right next to my bed.
Mhm.
But it's very important for us to kind of get into the zone of what we want to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh, I've spoken with Shalini a few times about
Yeah.
ritual, and so the
Yeah.
fact that you're bringing it up, and obviously it's something that I have also been exposed to as theory as part of
Yeah.
my anthropological training. And what really struck me, or what strikes me in you incorporating the word ritual in this process, including something like Toggl or the warm drink and your space and the music, is there's this sense of respect for that time. There's a sense of mindfulness, like
Yeah.
awareness that I'm getting into something now.
Yeah.
And there's also this sense of proactivity,
Yeah.
like you are taking a step as opposed to
Yeah.
something just happening, right?
Yeah.
Like brushing your
Absolutely.
teeth, or
Yeah.
those could just be habits,
Yeah.
but how you brush your teeth and what the process is, and where things are, how you want it organized and laid out,
Yeah.
that is what makes a difference. And so my question to you is, where my mind is going right now is, if mindfulness in your work is what you're doing with an enabler like Toggl, can you give me, is it, do you practice mindfulness in other forms? Like, is this part of like a larger practice that you follow, or is it work where you see it manifest the most, this sense of I'm present, I'm here, I want to do this?
I I would absolutely say I do practice mindfulness, or rather I try to practice mindfulness wherever I can. Whether, I'm at the beach, for example, and there's that dirty habit of taking out your phone and scrolling, God knows why, because your hand is feeling lonely, maybe. Um, but then mindfulness,
Right.
okay, slight detour. I have
Yeah.
also done a diploma course in Buddhist philosophy and psychology.
Hmm.
So I have a lot of theoretical training in philosophy and psychology from the Nalanda school. So mindfulness is defined not as the perfect act of sitting and being aware of things, but also the fact that when your mind strays, you're able to catch it and bring it back.
Hmm.
That catching and bringing it back is the mindfulness. Otherwise, we're very hard on ourselves that I'm trying to be mindful and it's not happening. But as
Right.
long as you're catching and bringing yourself back, that's what mindfulness is for me. So for me, it's like if I'm sitting at the beach, yes, my hand will go to wherever my phone is. Maybe my hand or my eyes or something's missing that scroll.
Yeah.
Um, but when I realize it, I keep it away. I'll take a breath and I'll look at the sea because I know I'm enjoying that as well. It's just
Right.
some inner instinct that made me go there. Um, so that's one example. I tried being more mindful while eating, but
Hmm.
I just really like watching something while eating.
Yeah.
So yes, the conversation on mindfulness is very much there
Yeah.
in my
And
life. Yeah,
right. And it makes sense, right, in that context, then, that if you are already aware of mindfulness, even as a
yeah,
thought,
yeah,
then when you're trying to implement it into practice, you know, these are the ways in which you're doing it, is being present when you need to get into a particular mode and put on a particular hat.
Yeah, yeah,
And one great takeaway for business praxis when it comes to what you're doing is saying, hey, it's about productivity as well, right?
yeah,
Because if you
yeah,
can rein in if you're mindful of your time and you only have
yeah,
that much time because you're busy running a
yeah,
business, you're busy managing a team, and you still need to be creative, then
yeah,
one way of doing that is using a tool or some external way of helping you get into the zone.
yeah, yeah. In fact, this reminds me, I hadn't thought about this for a while, but I
Hmm.
had been doing these time management, or I would actually call it task management workshops for creatives.
Hmm.
And one of the things I used to say was, don't think about multitasking.
Hmm.
Don't think about multitasking because it's one of those things that we take so much pride in. I'll be designing and then suddenly a ping comes and I might feel proud that I can respond to that and I can come back to it, but that's not true. There is a lag that happens between responding to it, coming back into this. There is I talk about the maker mindset versus the manager mindset, which is not my terms, but
Hmm.
I've read it and I've been sharing it with whoever wants to hear.
Yeah.
Um, there are all these there is all this knowledge in the world of psychology available, and we as creatives just need to apply it better. We need access to it in formats that we can you in formats that make sense to us, to
Yeah.
our day-to-day life, and then apply it. So the very fact that once you tell someone don't do multitasking, it means you're
Hmm.
single tasking. It means
Yeah.
you can block time on a calendar for one task, and
Hmm.
when it's time for that task, you tell yourself it's time only for this task.
Got it. Right.
Yeah,
So you mentioned Google Calendar. So my
yeah,
mind is going in the direction of Google has this notion of focus time. In fact, I
yeah.
use focus time just to block my time in the calendar. How does Toggl fit into focus time of Google? Have you tried that, or are you aware that they have focus time?
No.
Again, I don't know the features of Toggl for me to be able to compare and contrast. I know focus time. So, you know what, let's get into Toggl and maybe then I can compare and say, oh,
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
similar to or different to what Google offers? I mean, the Google Calendar focus time is not proactive, like it's not a timer, it's just blocked time on your calendar where it
Hmm.
shows up as a separate thing that says focus time for whatever, how much ever time you want.
Oh,
Um,
I'm also very curious to check it out. Maybe I'll do that after this
that's
because
what I thought because I
calendar
try to use
blocking
that.
is essentially focused time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
right?
I
Like
mean,
when we do time
let's
blocking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I'm curious to
Yeah,
see what Toggl is and how
yeah,
similar or different that is to something that I'm using. So let's get
yeah.
into Toggl. Tell me about how,
Okay.
what does it do for you before we do the screen share? Just elaborate a little bit
Yeah,
more on how does it fit in. You mentioned you toggle it on, is what you said a little bit
yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what else? What happens?
So Toggle has a lot of features. I don't
Hmm.
use all of them because I went hunting for a very specific cause. I
Hmm.
needed to have visibility on how much time I'm spending on every client's work. And
Hmm.
for a bunch of other reasons, I needed to track my time. But the most functional reason was that I have to give my clients a report on how much time I spent on this work.
That's
Right. So
right.
let's start with the basics. Beyond that, how tracking time makes me feel about my work and all that is a separate
Yeah.
conversation. Maybe we can get into it later. So when I first started tracking my time, I was using something else called Tick, and
Hmm.
it was working perfectly for me. It wasn't like beautifully designed, but it was had a seamless, start stop, clear interface, clear categorization of projects, tasks within projects. Everything was great. But then I think their mobile app started glitching a lot. And
Hmm.
that's when I decided I need to go on the hunt for something else.
Right.
I tried out 4, 5 different things just for 1, 2 weeks. I tried these things out and I finally decided to go ahead with Toggle because beautifully designed interface, and as a visual designer, that makes a real difference to me. I
Yeah.
don't want to open a timer, which the minute I open the screen and I feel like, why is it like this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
find 10 design flaws there and I will get distracted. I'll not think about my work.
The
I'll start
hazard of
thinking
your
about
profession.
yes, you can't
Right.
like work on poorly designed apps, right?
Right.
So that was one thing that stood out. The second thing was it just I think I'd had the functionality I needed. I don't know how to put it any other way. Like I had a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
basic demand that I should be able to input my projects and I should
Yes.
have a free flowing description of tasks.
Mm.
Because now, as a consultant, my tasks, even for the same client, vary a lot. And I need to be able to have some flexibility in how I define my tasks. Plus, it had a reporting feature. One of the other apps which I had started using for a personal project. In between, I also started logging my time on personal
Yeah.
projects, but I stopped that. Though that app, even though I really liked it, didn't have a reporting feature, but Toggl did have a reporting feature, which was really important for me. So it just ticked the different boxes. So that's how
Got it.
I have been using Toggl for more than 1.5 years now. Yeah,
Wow. And
yeah,
do you
pretty happy
remember
with it.
some of the apps that you tried out in between Tick and Toggle?
Um, I think one of the apps I still have it on my phone, the one I used for personal
Hmm.
projects. It was called a time logger. It's such a
Okay.
basic app. It's just an app. There's no desktop version for it. That was another challenge with this one. It's
Hmm.
just called a time logger.
Okay.
I don't know, should I show you the
No, no, that's
um
okay. I'm just
I don't know.
curious. Like, who were the other
Yeah.
contenders before you settled on
The
Toggle?
other contenders, see, if someone was to use it very seriously, Clockify is another contender, but I
Hmm.
don't like their interface, so I did not even try. Um,
Right.
cou- few others, not too
Huh.
many.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
No, no problem. I was just
yeah,
curious about that. Okay, so let's get into the tool. I'm curious about what it does for you,
yeah.
and we'll take it from there.
So I'll share my screen, and
Yeah.
it's a very brief walkthrough because it literally does two things that
Yes.
I mean, it does more things. I just don't use those features.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
So, so this is the landing screen. Anytime you land, this is where you are, and I like it because, in case I open it in front of someone else, I don't want it to go directly to my tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know why it feels very personal.
It is
Then,
personal. It's your time that you're
yeah,
sharing.
yeah. So just click go
Yeah.
to go to timer, and the timer opens.
Mm.
So here in this field, I'll just zoom in. So here I can just type a description of what I've been working on. And here I have a list of projects to select from.
Okay.
And in case I want to add any tags to it, I can, but I'm
Okay.
not currently using that a lot because
Okay.
just defining the project is enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then so if I just say podcast, and there's also an option to say no project,
Mm.
and it just automatically starts, right? And another thing I really like about it is I can stop it and then kind of do multiple time entries by just clicking here. So I don't have
Mm.
to keep, suppose I've taken a 15-minute break. If I'm taking two
Mm.
minute breaks, I probably might not stop my timer, but if it's a 15-minute break, I don't want to bill my client for it, obviously. So I'll just stop it and start it again. So it just makes my, it just works really well for my use case. That's all I can say,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
And then there's the reporting feature and the detailed table. So that comes handy when I have to give a report of what all work has been done and how
Mm.
much time has been spent on it. So maybe I'll just go to detailed table this month. So this is a particular project and select the project here. Yeah, that's
That's great. So it seems so transparent.
yeah,
It's almost a relief to see something like this, where rather than you having to manually remember, oh shit, I forgot to clock it, I
yeah,
forgot to clock
yeah,
my time, and
yeah,
not knowing what's happening. So, in addition, so it allows you to do that. You can map it to projects, and then at the end of it, you get a log of how much
yeah,
time you've spent on that project. I'm
yeah.
assuming you can then export, like, what do you do with it? Do you just make note of it in a separate thing to share with the client, or do you share it as is as an
I
export?
export it. I export it as a PDF.
Yeah.
and attach it to the email when I'm sending my invoice. That's it.
Wow.
That it real. So earlier, before
Yeah.
when I didn't have this export feature, or maybe when I was using that basic app on my phone for a
Yeah.
bit, I had to manually like see, okay, task one this time, task two this time.
Yeah.
So I had to create an Excel sheet. Now I can just export it. Or sometimes if it's just a few entries that month, I'll just take a screenshot and put it in the email. So that's what I love, that the app itself is clean. I don't feel weird taking a screenshot and thinking it's looking so awkward. People are gonna think, where
Yeah.
is this
Yeah.
from? So super clean. I'm very happy to be just taking screenshots and sharing it with people.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great. So
They have,
they've, huh,
sorry,
yeah,
I
go
have
on.
to tell you one
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They also have a goals feature that they have
Okay.
now start like they've just released it in beta
Hmm.
mode right now. So I was using it and I accidentally disabled it. So it's just not on my screen right now. It is
Huh.
still there. So for some clients, there's like an upper limit of X hours a month.
That's
So
right.
I can set that once
Hmm.
it hits that goal, it'll give me a notification and then I can have a conversation. Hey, do you want me to continue or what?
I think this is so invaluable even for people who are hiring consultants to know about,
Yeah,
because I really appreciate the transparency.
yeah,
It creates a sense of trust in the process
yeah,
where it's not a manual entry that someone has done. There's always that feeling that when tech is tracking something for you, it's more foolproof. It's not. I
yeah,
mean, no tech is foolproof,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah,
idea that there is a sense of automation and
yeah,
therefore more credibility in the
yeah,
process is something that I think, I mean, I appreciate, because I work with
yeah,
consultants. We do ask for timesheets, and it usually comes in Excel form,
yeah,
right, with manual entries,
yeah,
and that's fine. It's well and good, but I would trust the information even more if I was made aware of the fact that, wow, this consultant is going over and going out of their way to
yeah,
very transparently show how much time they've worked on a project.
yeah. And I do think that my clients value that because
Yeah.
when I first started as a consultant, I was very hesitant that what if they think I'm fudging? Because
Yeah.
very long back, I had very, very long back when I was not even at a,
Mm.
consultant, respectable consultant level, I
Correct.
had a client who would be like, oh, you didn't spend so much time on this. So I have encountered
Mhm.
such clients who
Yeah.
would just question. But I think the format in which I give things, see, honestly, toggle entries, you can edit them. It, maybe you've
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
mistake,
Yeah.
maybe you didn't press the,
Correct.
so you can
Yeah.
edit them. But the fact that, again, someone has made the effort to use a proper timer, your entries are starting at, let's say, 6:23 p.m. to 7, whatever,
Yeah.
like they're not round numbers. It's not like 6 a.m. to, sorry, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
feels like it's a guesswork that the consultant has done.
Correct.
They have approximately tried to put the time entry, and
Yeah.
that is not very trustworthy. There's something, even
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah. And
justified in terms of effort, something
correct.
feels off because nobody starts working exactly at 6 p.m. and
Yeah.
ends
Yeah.
exactly at 7 p.m. You
Absolutely.
know it's a manual
Yeah.
entry. But I think the format in which it's delivered, the fact that these systems are involved, has helped me build a sense of trust with my clients, for
That's
sure.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That completely makes sense to me. I think there is, like I said, nothing is foolproof, and you've said that as
Yeah.
well. But this shows initiative at a level that, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about, wow, there could be something that allows you to do this. So Toggl is open on your, is it a, how does it live? Is it an extension? Is it an
I just,
app?
so
So
I'll show
you
you
just go into
how.
the web app. So the web
Yeah.
app, and that's how you always log in.
Yeah. So what I do is, let's say this podcast is on right now. Okay, now
Right.
if I open another app, um, thinking what website? Okay, I'll just open this,
Like
right?
Google? Or
Yeah,
shall, okay,
I'm
go
just,
ahead.
okay, let's just open
Yeah.
Google. I'm so used to opening my mail directly. I didn't want
Yeah.
to open it.
Yeah.
But so now that I've opened another tab, this timer is here, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I find it a little distracting because I start worrying that, oh God, I've spent so much time here. Um, so I can just, that's a feature of Safari, not of Toggl itself, but you can just make the
Ah,
tab tiny so you don't have to look at it. So
okay.
that's how I usually keep it because I
Got
don't
it.
want to look at the timer running all the time.
Got it. Got it. So it is
Yeah.
a web app though. You access it
Yes,
continuously
it's a web
and
app
you
and
have
it's
to
a
remember
phone
to log
app.
in.
Yeah, and it's a phone app. So suppose I've already started my call and I in front of the uh in front I'm screen sharing with a client. I
Hmm.
don't want to go to Toggl and start the
Yes,
timer.
yes,
So I
yes.
just do have it on my phone. If I just so it's synced. It's it's I
Yeah, of
started it
course.
there and it's synced here. Similarly,
Yeah.
maybe yeah, the sync is very helpful.
So in the 1.5 years, we can stop our share screen right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing that to me. In the 1.5 years of you using Toggl, are there any asks from the company? Is there something that you would want it to bring up or
I had
introduce?
to think very hard about this one, but I
Okay.
realized it.
Yeah.
Um, and now that I've realized it, I can't stop thinking about it. Is the distraction
Oh
free,
boy.
like a distraction free mode? Because you saw that the minute I entered my timer page, all my previous entries were there.
Hmm.
The new task logging is like a thin strip at the top.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what happens is I go there with the intention of maybe I'm not on an urgent call. I don't have to start it
Hmm.
immediately. Maybe I'm just starting my own work for the day. I might get distracted. I'll start looking at, oh, how much work have I done this week? Oh, I need to cover up. So your brain automatically goes in all those directions. That's just how human brains work. So in that sense, I used to think Tick was really neat because maybe I can show you just the interface for Tick.
Hmm. That'd be great.
Yeah. So I don't have a account on it anymore, but maybe yeah, they have a product demonstration screenshot. Is it visible? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can see it.
So it's tickspot.com, and when you open the website, it comes like this. So the space, the dashboard for starting a new time entry is way larger. Your attention goes there
Hmm.
and not at all the other tasks that have been logged for the day. So I
Yes.
do think that small things like that make a big difference, especially if you realize it and then you can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see this is a very different interface from
Yes, this is so I quite liked
talking
this
to
time
someone.
card format.
Hmm.
The reason
Got
I stopped using this was purely because their phone app was glitching.
Got it, got it.
Yeah.
So I would think for consultants, I would think for people who care about I mean, one is to share the time cards, but also just managing time. This could be
Yeah.
a way to do that, right? Just being able to manage your time and log it in
I'm
a,
thinking. Um, I think it definitely helps with a retrospective view of how you spent your time, and that it can help you course correct for, let's say, the next week or the next
yeah.
month. So, in that sense, managing time, yes, for sure.
Do you
The
use the
other
analytics?
aspect of
Yeah, go ahead.
the other aspect of time management is actually proactively planning again.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, for example, what I do on Monday mornings is I'll go through, let's say I have 6 clients, for example. So I'll see what all work I have to do for each of them. I'll prioritize. And then I'll put time blocks for each one of them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in the time blocks, I include a little buffer because we like to
Yeah, yeah, of
overestimate
course.
ourselves and
Yeah.
need more time. So, yeah, so that's the time management thing that I feel is more fundamental, that you recognize your priorities and create intentions that way that, yeah, I will spend 1.5 hours for this client versus 3 hours for that client because this week that client has an urgency.
Got it, got it. Do you
Yeah.
also use other kinds of focus time settings, for example, on your phone, putting things on do not disturb, or on your laptop or your desktop
Yeah.
saying don't show notifications? Because having focus time is one thing, but we live in a world of push notifications for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
My phone is the main culprit. On my desktop, I don't have any notifications coming up.
Okay.
But so I just have to put my phone on silent and maybe toss it a little far
Yeah.
away from me.
Put the screen down.
Yeah, put the screen down and
Yeah.
just like let
Okay,
it be
okay.
on the side.
Got it.
So that's all I can do, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I just want to talk about workflow for a second. You already
Hmm.
touched on this, which is, let's say you proactively look on a Monday morning, you look at your schedule, you look at 6 projects, then you go into Google Calendar and you block your time in Google Calendar.
Yes.
And when you are in that time block, that is when you will log into Toggl and
Yes.
actually log your time in that
Yes.
time block. And then
Yes.
you stop your Toggl when you're done with that time block,
Yes.
right? And then you'll take a break or whatever, and then you look at Google Calendar to say what's next, like what is the next thing
Yeah.
I'm supposed to work on,
Yeah.
and then you follow the same process. Did I get that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say Google Calendar and Toggl don't always match because Google Calendar is the intention, Toggl is the
Correct.
reality of what happened.
Yes.
And some people get really overwhelmed by the calendar because they think it's their boss. And if you've logged it in your like if you've put it on the calendar, you have to do it as if
Yeah.
you've made a commitment to somebody. You've only made a commitment to yourself, or rather, you've made an intention.
Yeah.
So when my friends, all creative people, they come to me and they're like, we this work is just not manageable. So one of the things that comes up is you put it on the calendar and treat it as your assistant, not your boss. It's
Hmm.
just there to tell you what ideally needs to be done,
Hmm.
except for
Yeah.
calls. Those are,
Yeah.
you have to go on
Exactly.
to those. But everything else is like ideally what needs to be done.
Right. Right.
And then Toggl reflects the reality. So actually, that's very interesting if I was to someday match my Google Calendar, because Toggl also gives results in calendar format, by the way. Um,
Interesting.
they would look very different
Hmm.
because things happen, someone
Yeah.
came home, or work took longer, and you're in the flow. So you just don't want to stop, and you're okay
Right.
with pushing some other tasks to the next day. Those are executive decisions you take in the moment.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got it. So if you had to summarize in a sentence, Toggl is great for people who dash. How would you complete that sentence?
Who respect their own and others' time.
Hmm. Okay. All right. The only thing we have left, Nishita, right now is a rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Oh, okay. Let me sit up
Okay.
straight.
It'll be quick, and yeah, we'll get through it. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. Name one item on your bucket list.
Learning how to swim.
Ooh, good one. Have you
Yeah.
started that, or is that still
No, because
aspiration?
I there's so many things I want to do that I've not really
Hmm.
gotten to it, but
Yeah.
I would say
Okay.
it's on a wish list. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Which social media platform are you personally most active on?
Instagram, and I was
Hmm.
so active that I've had to take a 6 month break from it. So I'm currently on a
Mhm.
social media sabbatical, but
Got
I
it.
am an Instagram native. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So, what comes to mind when I say happiness?
Happiness is just day-to-day life. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Says someone who practices mindfulness. That makes sense. Do you own a vehicle?
Yes.
What vehicle do you own?
We have a moped. It's a beautiful
Okay.
blue TVS 100, and I love it. I just love it.
Yeah.
For safety purposes, we also own a car.
Okay.
Yeah.
What make? Do you know?
It's an i10,
Awesome.
Hyundai
Okay. All
i10.
right.
Yeah.
Very good. That was it. I told you it'll be super quick and easy.
Okay.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Is there anything, Nishita, that we have not touched on in the context of Toggl, mindfulness, anything that comes to mind that you want to share before we wrap it up?
I mean, honestly, on both mindfulness and time tracking, I could go on forever and ever, but I
Mm.
feel like I just had so much fun in today's conversation because it brought back ideas and thoughts which I hadn't thought about on my own for a bit. So I think it takes conversations like these to also remind you of your own perspectives sometimes. So
Well,
thanks,
thank you for
Tapsi.
saying. Thank you for saying that. This was really wonderful. I really did learn a tool, that is in line with what I'm already practicing. I told you I use focus time in Google
Yeah,
Calendar, so now I'm going to check out Toggl and see,
yeah,
what
okay.
if and how it can help me manage my time better. So really appreciate your insights here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, bye, bye,
Bye.
Nishita.